Social media has proved to be an instrumental marketing platform for art institutions. Due to Instagram's ability to popularise events through its wide-reaching medium, new types of exhibits have been emerging. The Museum of Ice Cream, the Colour Factory, 29 Rooms, Happy Place and Candytopia have been created with the purpose of encouraging visitors to take photos and post them on social media, while doing so creating free advertising and generating more ticket sales. Because of this marketing success, an increasing number of museums are embracing the age of art selfies by producing exhibits that are highly photogenic in order to accrue social media publicity. This essay investigates the issues arising from the increase of made-for-Instagram exhibits and how the resultant changes to the visitor's experience reflects current society. Images on social media are an extremely effective means of promotion, and correspondingly there has been an increase of exhibitions that are highly interactive and photogenic. The Rain Room, Kusama's Infinity Rooms and Artichoke's London Lumiere Festival are all huge successes on Instagram due to their impressive imagery and immersive environments, putting the viewer at the centre of the artwork. However, enterprises such as the Museum of Ice Cream, which rely on social media to gain visitors, have been criticised for existing with the sole intention of making money. Muller asserts that corporate sponsorship is part of the business model for many of these selfie pop-ups. It has been proposed that the existence of blatant brand sponsorship directly destroys artistic aspects of these spaces by being the main reason they exist at all. This poses a concern for museums which increasingly present social media friendly exhibits, as they too risk being accused of favouring commercialism. Vilimirovic claims to have noticed a huge increase in art shows that are hard to imagine as anything but a series of Instagram backdrops, and observes that whilst boosting attendance, galleries are accused of compromising the very concept of art exhibitions. Social media's ability to generate free and wide-reaching advertising benefits museums by targeting youth, diversity and creating personalised engagement, but by making use of this tool, museums risk becoming commercially led by focusing exhibits on targeting potential customers. Another issue is that producing Instagrammable exhibits in order to generate mass interest online and increase ticket sales compromises the content of artworks. Pards believes that selfie art and its rise to notability is a result of curators insisting on shows for Instagram's sake in order to raise the museum's popularity, and questions the integrity of a practice that insists on keeping Instagram compatibility in mind. Prioritising potential social media success in the artworks they compile and advertise suggests that museums favour optimising interest over meaningful engagement. An example of a company who do not compromise the content of the artwork for the sake of advertisement are AE. In an interview with Aya Nakamura and Esteban Formi, founders of AE, Esteban spoke about how they target their audiences.
We don't focus on what type of audience we want to target. We just create work, and then the work does the job for itself. We are not creating a piece for a specific audience. We are not creating a piece for social media. We create what we want, what we like, and thereafter it's...
While utilising digital platforms and technology, it is evident that AE are primarily concerned with the concept behind the artwork rather than amassing a large social media following. A concern raised by several art critics is the risk that curators and institutions may assume social media popularity represents the preferences and demand of the entire public. And in turn, Instagram likes and the number of gallery visits may play an even greater role in dictating the tastes of directors as museums potentially succumb to populism. Perry writes that the art world has a pretty tense relationship with popularity. He argues that democracy has bad taste, stating that a large audience and the shared tastes of the public are often at odds with those who wish to expand the field of what is thought of as good art by the public, and raises a concern that popularity may affect the course of art history. It can be suggested that populism, dictating the tastes of curators, and institutions complying to customer demand, threatens the quality of art, and cultural democracy, although inclusive, does not generate diverse artwork or broaden educational horizons. It can be suggested that artists such as AE, who do not appease the masses, create more meaningful work because they evoke a range of emotions and responses from their audience.
We try to bring audience in a different situation and triggering different emotions. That's why people find it uncomfortable. Some people find it really scary. Some people really find it disturbing. We don't want the piece to be pleasant and only nice and beautiful about it. It's more how can we trigger different questions.
This suggests that combining thought-provoking and varied emotive aspects attracts a more diverse audience, and more long-term interest and meaningful responses can be gleaned from unfamiliar encounters. Whereas the primary role of the Tate's recently installed set of swings, commissioned by Hyundai, is to entice visitors into the Tate to post photos and thus promote the gallery, without gaining any insight or meaning from it. The problem with widely enjoyed and suitable exhibitions such as this is that they lack substance and do not challenge the audience. Knight is of the opinion that manufactured entertainments are not significant art exhibitions, comparing them to arcade entertainments and theme park attractions. There is an evident concern that art institutions may prioritise corporate importance over content. As museums today steer towards the entertainment and leisure industries, they increasingly compromise their traditional role of educators and information providers. In an interview with Irini Papadimitriou, Digital Programmes Manager at the V&A Museum, Irini stated that like entertainment and leisure industries, museums have to attract audiences in order to sustain funding, so they inevitably make use of the demand for entertainment in order to make money.
I think it's because we move towards like experiences economy. Yeah. Because that you can see that with many things, like from commercial sector, from the retail, events, entertainment, everywhere it happens. And the museums, they just do the same.
Despite breathing new life into museums, these entertainment-led exhibits are very different from traditional exhibits, as they are less concerned with educating, informing, or engaging the visitors on a meaningful level. This highlights how social media and the success of these made-for-Instagram's sake exhibitions are directly altering the fundamental role of the museum as a platform for intellectual enlightenment, as they prompt museums to affiliate with entertainment and leisure industries. Major institutions recognise the importance of both education and entertainment as forms of visitor engagement, which demonstrates the interdependence of visitor understanding and enjoyment. The Tate, as a leading institution for international art, addresses this in their policy to give audiences digital experiences that increase their enjoyment and understanding of art, provoke their thoughts and invite them to participate, and entice them to explore deeper content. Similarly, the V&A Museum state their responsibility to promote the public's enjoyment and understanding of art. The V&A's strategic plan states their intention to make collections accessible and engaging online, and to promote research, knowledge and enjoyment of the designed world to the widest possible audience. The Tate and V&A, valuing both knowledge and enjoyment, highlights the combination of education and entertainment as an effective formula for engaging audiences. However, in practice, this draws attention to the difficulty of maintaining the effectiveness of two opposing demands, which may indicate why some visitors have been disgruntled by differing conducts in galleries. There has been much criticism for the museum experience today, yet it is the museum's changing role that encourages this behaviour from visitors. Once passive receivers of information, visitors are now required to generate content, participate and provide feedback. Visitors are presented with phone applications, hashtags, National Museum selfie events to take part in, and selfies and snapshots are not only encouraged but celebrated. Museums encouraging antisocial behaviour is at odds with traditional expectations, which results in many visitors being irritated by the behaviour of so-called interlopers and exhibit hogs in galleries. A common concern is that taking selfies in museums does not allow for a fulfilling experience. It can be said that the taking of photographs allows visitors to forget by thinking less about what they are seeing and more about what would make a good picture. Therefore, visitors do not connect deeply with the artwork and the encounter is reduced to a non-experience. Furthermore, the taking of photographs can be seen to diminish artwork, especially when using another artist's work as a backdrop to acquire social media likes. Posting photos online risks art becoming a mere tool of our narcissism and disconnects the visitor from the artwork by focusing on future likes rather than present appreciation. Yet by encouraging photographs, the museums themselves are degrading the work they exhibit and confirm their prioritisation for social media likes over sanctity. It is often acknowledged that the role of art is to act first and foremost as a cultural commentary. Equivalently, audiences' experience of artworks reflects society's dependence on social media and the duality between live and recorded experiences. Visitors are criticised for sampling as opposed to savouring artworks, yet Stewart explains how selfies present a catch-22 of mutually conflicting intentions, as people increasingly take selfies to signify that they are in the presence of something extraordinary. Visitors often intend to glorify the object by sampling the moment, but during the process they unwittingly degrade it by subordinating it to self-promotion and banality, and compromising the lived experience. This is reflected in widely relatable and personalised selfie factories, which often lack substance and conform to a collective ideal of an enjoyable exhibition. Many of these exhibitions comply to a society that has little time to contemplate artwork and therefore demands instant satisfaction and transparent meanings, which often results in shallow encounters. Artworks being revealed and overexposed online can be said to leech the wonder and surprise of the museum experience, and exposure to exhibition content poses the problem of a potential generation of armchair art viewers. Stoker Walker asks whether strolling through art institutions will be displaced by scrolling through Instagram feeds. However, many critics are of the opinion that viewing an artwork in person cannot be substituted by viewing it online. Espinos states that digital art databases will always fail to replicate the experience of standing in front of a work of art. Ulrich Obrist compares this to the music industry and how large numbers of people choose to hear artists play live despite the existence of CDs and digital downloads. He emphasises the value of lived experiences, affirming that online is never going to replace the physical gallery. The more art we see online, the more desire there is to visit exhibitions. However, with digital media infiltrating galleries, today's museum experience is diluted by artificial interaction, surface-level understanding and shallow experiences created to pacify a distracted, digitised society. Despite the immediate distaste for selfie-orientated museums, they are pivotal in epitomising a society that is fast-paced, demanding, driven by instant gratification and producing shallow and short-lived encounters. Perhaps this Insta-art trend will also be short-lived. The demand for vibrant interactive exhibits that make an impressive Instagram photo may be a passing phase, eventually looked back on as a landmark of consumerism reaching a peak in the creative industries, which for many has taken the enjoyment and leisure out of experiencing artworks. The scale at which popularity churns popularity, made possible by social media, demonstrates a lack of both cultural and self-identity within the public. Youth's apparent obsession with selfies and online profiles can be seen as a woeful distraction from fears of a disconnected society. Perhaps these immersive exhibits the public rush to attend, while enjoying and advocating it, simultaneously fulfills the public's need for escapism from the dystopian reality of consumers and capitalism.